Hey everyone, welcome to It's a Win-Win Podcast. My name is Sophie Nguyen.
My name is Tommy Nguyen.
And we upload a new podcast every single Wednesday. And if you guys didn't catch last week's episode, I want to remind you guys that you can watch this podcast recording. We are in our home office and we are recording this for you. So if you guys like to watch videos instead of just listen to the podcast, we want to invite you to check out our YouTube channel at Just Livin'.
No G. Just space Livin. No G.
Just Livin'.
Just living.
And today we are going to be asking each other questions that we're curious about or that we've never asked each other before. And I have no idea what Tommy's questions are. He has no idea what questions I have written down. And so we're going to be on our phones reading these questions to each other and answering them honestly.
Yeah, honestly. I'm a little nervous because Sophie kept saying it's going to be juicy. But don't worry, we're going to keep this PG. Maybe G-rated. We don't know. But,
yeah. They're going to be PG, so any kids watching it's going to be okay. But I'm just curious about some of these questions and just to get Tommy a little more beyond the surface level with you guys. And I just want to show you more of who he is. And so that's kind of my position with this. And shout out to Whaley and Sophia on YouTube that did this this video where they're best friends and they asked each other questions they've never asked each other. And so this is totally not like our amazing original idea. We got to give credit where credit is due.
Yep. And Sophie's kind of like my best friend. So it's kind of like asking questions you never asked your best friend.
That's really true. Okay. So should we get started?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I think we can go back and forth. And you want to go first?
You can go first.
All right. Okay.
So nervous.
Okay. Remember, you have to answer honestly.
Okay. Can you plead the fifth or no?
I don't think you're going to need to.
Okay.
When did you last cry in front of another person or by yourself?
Ooh, this is a good question. When's the last time I cried by myself or
with another person?
With another person. So I think Sophie asked this question because I usually don't cry, but I have noticed like in the past 3 years I've been more emotional, and it's probably because
you're married
with
to
Sophie.
Me. I cried.
I probably teared up. Like I had this really sad dream the other day.
Aww.
Probably a couple weeks ago. I don't remember what it was about, but I'm pretty sure it's something about family. And then I just remember waking up feeling super sad, and I teared up. So I think that counts as crying, right?
When did you cry? It dripped.
Yeah, when I had that dream.
Did it drip down your face?
Water came out of my eyeballs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I'm after I woke up, I'm why am I sad? This is not real. So I got over it. I'm just not a big crier. On the other hand, Sophie over here, if you guys know Sophie, she loves to cry. Not in a bad way. She just likes to put her express her emotions, and that's just who she is.
Yeah. I cry every single episode on This Is Us.
Yeah, it's a good, nice,
a ball.
Relieving cry.
Yeah. I feel if I don't cry, then I'm holding something in too long, and I don't feel very, I feel I'm going to explode or something.
Yeah.
Crying is it's good.
Yeah, it's kind of like this release of whatever it is of your emotion.
Yeah. Okay, you can ask your first question.
Let me actually look at my phone. So
I won't look at your questions.
Okay, you won't. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good first question. It's kind of sad, but it's a good first question. To kick it off, when did you last cry? Okay.
We're getting deep.
Let me find. Ooh, okay. It's not super juicy or anything like that.
I'm scared.
I have a bunch of questions I came up with. So this one's more of a curiosity question. Have you ever gone through my things when I wasn't around? From dating to now. So from dating up to today, we're married now. So have you ever gone through my things?
Your clothes or?
Just through my stuff, through my personal stuff when I wasn't around, just snooping.
I mean.
Answer honestly, please. No feelings will be hurt.
I feel there wasn't anything to snoop around, honestly, in college. Everything in your room was always so organized. But I never really, tried to snoop. I guess I opened up your remember that little, 3
Oh, my little
drawer plastic
shelf organizer,
thingy.
desk organizer. Yeah.
Maybe in the video we can pop up a little ding of what I'm talking about. You know, the ones at like Walmart or Target or whatever. Yeah, so I went through that. But there's nothing really to go through.
Oh, yeah. I remember you went through that and you literally pulled out everything. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? Why do you have this?
I saw
What
this.
is that?
I saw this hilarious tweet yesterday that was like, I knew I was nosy when I stopped breathing when I heard like, I heard what they were like talking about or like when they got the tea. And so I don't know.
Oh, when you heard like someone talking about something.
Yeah, and the guy was like, I knew I was nosy when I stopped breathing to hear
True.
Anyway, so I guess yeah, but when you were not around, I don't really do that.
Okay.
I just know you're not hiding anything, so I don't feel the need to be like, ooh, does he have like something he's hiding?
I think the only thing I really hid from her were like gifts and the engagement ring I got her. That's the only thing I really hid, and she kind of like found it. That's a funny
Not
story.
on purpose.
On accident, totally on accident. But do you want to talk about that real quick?
I didn't know it was in your backpack though. Right?
No, so I hid it in my work backpack. So I always had it with me every time I went to work. This is when I worked in construction, so I would go into the office every day and have my backpack. Yeah, I think yeah.
No.
Wait, actually,
no, you already
yeah.
went so cold.
No, so I actually had the ring a year before I asked. So I've had it for a while. Yeah, crazy. Secrets revealed. Yeah, and I would keep it with me because it was in the red backpack. Remember when I used to use that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always just have it with me, and just to make sure that you didn't find it. But then I made like a dumb mistake, and I put the bag like from the company, from the jewelry store I bought it from.
Yeah.
I put it where like we usually kind of go, like where you usually like put stuff.
He's saying in the trunk of the car. We have like a bin. And then I knew this jeweler because I know her personally. And I was like, oh, awkward.
And I tried to brush it off, but I don't think she believed me.
I mean, I knew at some point it was coming, but I still wanted it to be a surprise. But I was like, who knows when it's actually going to happen? Like I knew we were going to get married.
Yeah.
And we can dig into that story maybe sometime later. But
another podcast or another episode, I mean.
Yeah. And then we were doing our budgeting and then he like said a number and he's like, oh, do you remember that?
Oh yeah, so we were going through budgeting and we're just going through our transactions, and I'm like, what is this number? Why is it so high? I'm like, oh, I just spilled the beans.
I was like, oh, awkward.
Yeah, so it was hard to keep that secret for like almost a whole year.
See, that's the thing with you. You don't keep secrets. You don't hide things from me, and that's why I don't have the curiosity to be like, oh, I'm gonna go snoop.
Yeah.
Through his stuff.
I would say I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to like those things.
Yeah.
You can look through all my drawers. Does not bother me.
And I'm the one that does his laundry and everything anyway, so.
True.
I'm like, I don't know. Ain't nothing to hide. Next question.
All right. Your turn. Question number 2.
Okay. If you were to change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
Man, these are like thought-provoking. These are deep. Okay. If I were to change anything...
About the way you were raised, what would it be?
Oh, about the way I was raised. This is a good one because I typically like to live with like no regrets and not dwell like on the past. So this question is, I think it's an easy question for me. Like I don't think I would change anything because everything that I was raised with, is that the right way? Or raised by, like the values and the way I was raised. I don't regret any of that because it shaped me to become the person I am today. And, whether it wasn't the best way or it's the best way, there's no right or wrong answer, I think, how you're raised, and you can't dwell in the past. So you can always change. Maybe you were raised, in a way that wasn't the best, but you don't let your past dictate how you're going to live your future.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I had, very fortunate to have 2 parents in my life growing up, and, they did the best they can as parents. They wanted me to live the best life I could live, and they provided everything that they could, and I'm just super thankful for that. And I think growing up, when you're younger, you don't realize that until you get older. And then you just realize how much your parents do for you and how hard they work for you. My dad growing up, he always told me, he's like, I work so hard for you. And he would say that to me and my sister. And
That's so cute.
you don't really realize that until you get older, until you move out the house, and you begin to miss some of those like small things they did for you. So yeah, so I wouldn't change anything.
That's so cute. I thought you would say like, I wish I spent more time with my dad and my mom or something. I don't know.
Well, I guess the way you framed it is like how I was raised, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, like growing up, my parents worked a lot. So they weren't always around. Like I was actually raised more by my grandparents early on. But my parents, I knew why they worked so hard now and why they did their best. Like, so growing up, I played soccer and I played club soccer. So I would travel. So travel soccer, travel all around to multiple cities, all around our state, statewide and into other states even. And my dad always made it a point to take me to all my games when he could. He always made that point. Now, that's something I'll always remember, like my dad being there at my soccer games. Of course, my mom had to work, but it was fine. My dad is a huge soccer, very passionate soccer player and fan. And so he was always there at probably 90% of my games when he could make it.
That's a special memory.
Yeah.
And I will say that you are very blessed to have two parents that were married, are still married, love each other, really healthy foundation for you, because some people don't always get to see that,
Yeah, and I'm very aware of that, and that's why I do feel fortunate and just grateful to be able to experience that growing up.
Yeah, and I think it's good to recognize the blessings in your life and how that relationship has shaped you into your marriage and your life and the importance of it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. You know what's crazy? It's like when you get older, and this, you won't realize this until you get older, but you start to act like your parents. Like some of the things that you do, it's like, oh, this is like what my dad does. It's like I'm becoming like my parents.
That's crazy.
In a way, right? Like just some of the small things that you pick up growing up.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, my life was kind of different, and my life is kind of crazy. If you guys know where that's from, message us. It's from TikTok.
Just give it away.
I know. I had to say it. So I think, like for me, I got raised by my siblings and my mom. That's just...
Yeah, you had an interesting upbringing, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, it's like my mom and dad raised me until 4th grade. And then I was like raised by all my siblings. And so, I don't know, I have things from like my sister Savali, like disinfecting doorknobs, light switches, your phone, taking off your shoes every time you get in the house. I think she made me I won't say she made me a germaphobe, but she made me a very clean person.
Yeah, so if you guys are wondering like where Sophie got her cleanliness,
it's my sister
from her sister.
Savali. And my mom is also like a clean freak, dusting everything. She dusts like every day. And so you'll see me around the house dusting like the windows, everything, the baseboard. I dust my plants. I dust everything. So yeah, you're right. We do become our parents.
In a way, right? Just
Sometimes.
some parts of it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Siblings. Okay.
All right, so question 2 from me. Okay. This one's kind of funny. Okay. It's about to get real, everybody.
I'm scared.
So let's talk about height real quick, because I feel like this is such a real thing. So I'm about 5'10", 5'11". Sophie's 5'2".
Okay.
So I'm taller than her. If you guys didn't know.
Clearly.
So the question is, would you I don't know how to ask this question. Would you still date me if I was the same height as you?
Oh.
We're getting down to the real stuff.
Oh, dang.
If I was the same, so with everything that you already knew about me, my personality, how I am, etc. But then if I was your height, exactly your height, so we used to be like eye to eye, real talk, would you still have dated me? And this is not trying to make you look shallow or anything like that. It's just a real question. Like people have attractiveness to people's physical appearance.
Yeah, that's the first thing you're attracted to.
It makes sense.
I would say yes, because I don't know. I don't think I was meant to be with anybody else. Like I've only dated you and someone else.
So it's not about the looks, it's about the personality, is what you're saying.
I just feel like we're meant to be together. So if you're my height, you're my height. I just can't. I feel like that changes our dynamics so much, though. So it's weird for me to think about that.
Yeah, sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with like if you said no. It's just curiosity. It's questions I've never asked my wife, and that's what I've asked.
But I love your height, so that's why it's hard for me to say like, yeah, totally. But then I'm like, I don't know. Height is just height. Like there's so much more to a relationship in your life than the height of your spouse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I can definitely see past that.
And I think it doesn't matter who's taller. And I say this because so we're talking about my parents, and my mom's actually taller than my dad by 1 inch.
It's true.
Yeah. So my dad's 1 inch shorter than my mom.
But that makes him no less of a man. I mean,
yeah,
he's totally those old school values of a husband and dad. So.
He's definitely like man of the family. He leads our family. He led our family growing up, and
still leads him now.
Yeah, and so it was just more of a curiosity question that I thought was interesting to ask.
My question.
Right. Oh wait, this is question numero 3. So number 3.
If I were to die tomorrow, would you end up remarrying?
That's a good question. It's a question
that's okay
Sophie.
If you say, just be honest.
I think it would. So I'll be frank. Because Sophie's asked me this question before, so I've had some time to think about it. Yeah, you've asked it like maybe a couple times actually.
Oh, sorry. Then this question just.
And then she's always told me like, if I die, you can marry someone else. That's how. See, now do you remember? You've asked me before.
I didn't know that.
I think it depends on the situation, and if you died, like let's just say natural causes, which is really sad to think about, or like in a let's just say car accident, because if you died, and let's say, wait, what was the question?
If I were to die tomorrow, would you? Remarry?
Okay. So the context is tomorrow. It would take me some time for sure. But I think eventually, yeah, I would, because you told me I could.
What if I said you couldn't?
And then I wouldn't.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think I would. It'd be hard. It'd be hard because then it's like, oh, my deceased wife told me not to marry anyone, and I would just feel really guilty actually.
Aww.
And then
my
I
thing
feel like
is,
any other girl I would find, I would just like try to find you in her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that'd be like a life
that's impossible.
I can't like fulfill.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is an interesting topic because I know people who have remarried after their spouses have passed away and they're really happy. But I think for me, I would just like get pets or adopt children and just be like a single mom, or help my sisters, brother, nieces raise their children. So I don't think I could remarry even if you said I could.
I think eventually you could. Like, you may not ever forget me if I died, of course. I mean, I wouldn't forget you either. But I think in like our lives and what I believe in is that we're called in this life to have meaningful relationships. Yeah. And when you do have a spouse, that is like your meaningful relationship. That's the relationship where you can share absolutely everything with, like having that other person to share your life with, to live your life with. And when you lose that person, or if you ever lose that person, it'd be extremely hard to find someone else, because you would have that box of expectations, you know, for that other person. But I still think that it's probably better to have like another person, as weird as that sounds.
I guess I don't look at it that way. I just say, like, if I'm dead, I don't want you miserable. So
yeah, I mean, yeah,
or depressed
exactly.
for a very
I guess that's
long
what
time.
I'm trying to get at.
Okay, I was like,
yeah.
Just I don't want you to be sad.
All right, cool. Good questions. They're pretty deep. They're like my type of questions that you're asking. Just like more deep thinking questions about life.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're still on number 3. So my question is next. Let's see. I gotta find it. Okay. Question number 3. What makes you feel the most loved?
I don't know. Have you never asked me this before?
I don't think so. I feel like you've told me, but I want you to think about it.
Okay, so I think if it was like, if I were to describe a day, so do you guys know about the 5 love languages? If you don't, you should look it up, take the quiz, or read the book. So my love language, they're kind of like tied. It's physical touch and acts of service. And so
Acts of service.
it's like, it got close for my second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but physical touch is my first one. And so I think when I feel the most loved is like when I'm really tired from work, or like my brain, I'm just like mentally exhausted, and I go up to Tommy and I'm like, can I just have a hug? And I don't want him to rush me or like feel irritated, which he doesn't. You're actually very graceful with that, where you just like stop what you're doing and just give me a hug. I think that's when I feel the most loved. And then, so that's the very simple way that will always make me feel better. Or like if he watches Legally Blonde or Mean Girls with me, even though he doesn't really fully, I don't think, enjoy it.
No, I grew up watching those shows.
Because those
movies.
are my 2 favorite movies. And then if he'll actually sit there and watch with me, that I feel loved that way, because I know it's not something he just is dying to do with all this time. And so it's meaningful to me when he spends that time to do that with me. And then if he like drives me around,
Acts of service right there.
yeah, I don't really have to drive, because he just likes to drive me around and like takes me to get boba, restaurant, some sort of restaurant thing. And when you'll walk through like Sephora or Target with me, and you're super patient and you don't rush me, and then you actually respond if I'm like, do you like this candle? And I feel like you genuinely care. Maybe I should ask you that question. Do you genuinely care when I ask you?
No, let's not get to that point. I actually do. I do care.
does.
So I smell it, and then I
He
tell
does
her
tell me.
if I like it or I don't like it.
Even like Christmas decor, I was like, do you want these or these? And you had an opinion. So yeah, I think that's when I feel the most loved.
That's cool. Sounds like I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
All right. So that was question number 3.
Should we do one more?
Oh, no, wait. That was my question. Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay.
So question numero 4. Number 4.
Okay, Tommy, who is your hero? And what would you tell them today if this was the last time you see them?
I would say my hero is my dad. I know that's kind of a cliche, cheesy answer, but it really is. When I think about like one person in my life that I think has been a great role model to me, and that has really led me in my life, is my dad.
Shout out to Tony Nguyen.
Tony and Tommy Nguyen. It's almost like the same names. But yeah, and I think the reason why is because his story. He has, I think, a unique, cool story. You know, he was a refugee coming from Vietnam and immigrated here to America, and he's living the American dream. I mean, and that's why he came to escape, to leave his home country, because, you know, it was dangerous. And he came here with the clothes on his back, maybe like $100-$200 cash, and that's pretty much it. And then now, you know, he has a house, he runs his own business, he has a family, and just coming from nothing to now, it's just been really cool to see that, to hear my dad's story. Of course, it's more I hear it more in detail. I'm just giving you a brief kind of overview. But it's just like, man, that's so inspiring to me. And it makes what makes me work so hard, because my dad worked so hard to provide for his family. You know, he didn't grow up in like a rich family, a wealthy family. You know, everything he has, everything he's done, is from his hard work. And so that motivates me and inspires me to work hard for when I have my family, and also to give back. My dad is probably one of the most generous people that I know. He is so generous with the people around him. You know, whatever they need, he is there to help, to, you know, to support them in any way he can. And to me, it's just, he's my hero.
And what would you tell him if today is the last time you've ever seen him?
I would just say I would tell my dad, but like, I love you, and thank you for all that you've done, and that you lived a great life. If he was on his like deathbed or something, and that he has nothing to worry about. That he's raised us well, raised my sister and I well. That we're coming from a strong foundation, and that's because of him. And that just thank you for everything he's done.
That's cute.
All right. Question number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, last one.
If you guys have made it this far, thank you for listening.
Yeah, if you made it this far, make sure to hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. And rate the podcast.
That notification bell.
Hit the notification bell.
I'm kidding. Every time people say that, I'm like,
hey, it's part of the YouTube.
I know.
The YouTube
Don't
algorithm.
forget to subscribe before you
You have to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Hit the like button. All right. I think this is a good one. This one's kind of like
I'm so scared.
But I want to ask.
What are you gonna say? So That's not exciting.
So question number 4, and that question is: where do you see us in 5 years?
Okay. So in 5 years, I will be 31.
Actually, 32.
Wait, really?
27 plus 5. Math.
I thought I'm 26.
Yeah, 27, man. 1993 minus 2020.
Wait, you guys.
27.
I don't ever know how old I am. Wait, am I really 27? What the heck?
Yeah, you're turning 28 next year. Crazy.
I'm actually like shocked. I've been saying I'm 26. Okay.
Lucky number 27.
Anyway, I will be 32.
Yes.
Okay, so in 5 years, I would definitely still be married to you. I hope to be married to you forever.
It'll happen.
Until I die. That is the plan. And then I think we'd have at least one child by then. Hopefully it's a boy. But I'm okay with a girl too. We'll see. So, and not living here in San Jose, probably not, because we'd have all of our family far away.
Foreshadowing a little bit for our friends here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, probably not going to be living here as much as I'll miss my...
Wait, here in California or San Jose?
In San Jose. It's way too expensive.
Okay. So we might still be in California.
Yeah, way too expensive, small. It's just not the vibe for me. Which is fine. It's okay if it is your vibe, though. I guess we were raised in, Midwest, so it's different.
Yeah.
How our childhood was, we wanted to have a similar childhood for our kids, is how I see it. And then, I don't know, probably onto a different business venture.
Oh, really? Interesting. That's news to me, guys.
I
love Soul Gold.
I mean, Soul Gold's great. I'm just saying there's probably going to be something else, too.
Oh, yeah. Most likely.
Something else, or I can just see myself working full-time ministry, like at a church. So, yeah.
5 years. Nice. It's not too far away. Sounds like there's going to be a couple of life changes. Possibly.
Like, I don't know. When I think about my life, I'm like, man, I just want to be like, if it's not full-time ministry, like part-time ministry, and then picking up my kids from school and just not really like super stressed about work. Because right now I feel like I could take on the stress because I'm young and I have nothing else besides Tommy to like be present with, and my friends, of course. But, I don't have like kids with me here all the time needing my attention. Yeah. So I don't know. I just want to have my attention on my kids and then still work in the church, or not work if I don't work and get paid.
So maybe a stay-at-home mom.
Serving. I don't know if I could be a stay-at-home mom though.
Yeah, I think the way you're wired, it'd be hard for you.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
I don't really know, guys. I'm not a mom yet, but yeah, I don't know. I know people who are stay-at-home moms, and I know people who aren't stay-at-home moms, and both of their lives look fantastic. So we will see when we get there.
Cool. Awesome answer. So that's it. That wraps up our podcast today and our video, if you're on YouTube, of asking my spouse questions I've never asked. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was entertaining for you guys. We had a couple more deep, thought-provoking questions, and then we had some more fun, lighthearted related questions.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys in the next podcast next week on Wednesday.
Yep. It's a win-win podcast every Wednesday. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button to let us know if you liked it. Drop a comment down below if you have ideas for us, for topics for us to speak on, and then hit that notification bell if you want to stay up to date with all of our new videos that are coming out. And if you're listening on the podcast on Apple Podcasts, make sure to rate us if you haven't already, and give us some feedback. Whether that's good or bad. We want to take both because it helps us tremendously improve our content for you guys. So we love you so much. And my name is Tommy Nguyen.
My name is Sophie Nguyen.
And this is a Win-Win Podcast. We'll see you guys next week on Wednesday.
Bye.
Peace.